friends, Karen here from Liongate Farm. Today we're really going to do starfish because last week I said starfish and we did seahorses. So we're really going to make some starfish today. They're pretty cute. It looks like an easy project, but it actually takes a little bit of time. So let me show you how to do this. All right, today we're making these little starfish and they have an armature because, you got to be able to pose your starfish around. So let me show you how to make this armature first, and then we'll finish them with some little beads, and I glue those on. So to make your armature, you need 18 gauge wire. Actually, I'll go through everything you need. You need 18 gauge wire. You can use 16 if you want. So you need 3 pieces of wire that are about 7.5 inches long. You're going to need some core wool of your choice. You're going to need your top color. We're going to use this merino blend. I think it's called Crumpet. I can't remember. And then we're going to use a little bit of orange, marigold orange for the bottom. We will glue on some beads, and I use tweezers to hold the beads in the glue. You might need some pliers. You might need some wire cutters to cut your wire, and you never know, you might need scissors to trim all the little hairs. So let's get started. So first, cut your 3 pieces of 18 gauge wire, 7.5 inches long. And you're thinking, I know you're out there thinking, well, starfish only have 5 legs. Well, you're right, they do. So what I do is I take my let's take 2 of them and find the center. Take 2, find your center point. So you know your center point is there. Give them a little twist right in the center. All right, so we have 4 legs at this point. And then take your other one, find the center. So you know that is your 5th leg. And we're going to add it to this one. And then I take that 6th leg, wrap it around once, and then I'm going to weave it in and out of my other wires. I'm going to go around. So I went under that one, so let's go over this one, under that one. Basically, we're just securing this center. I know you can't see anything because my thumb is in the way. Gets a little bit precarious. So I went over, under, and these wires are going to move around on you for right now. Over, under. And then let's just twist it wherever you end up. Just twist it with that leg. All right, so we have now 5 legs. And we need to secure those legs. So what we're going to do, we're going to wrap a little bit of core wool around the center. So you only need like a little 2-inch piece, 3-inch piece, split it in half. Almost. We're going to go. Place that core wool on this spot. Wrap it between those 2 legs. Basically, you want to go in and out of all of these legs to get them so they won't move. You're going to be able to slide them back and forth a little bit. Try and keep them all the same length. And then let's secure that using a 38 star spiral as my main, it's my main favorite needle. And then we're going to take a bigger piece of core wool. Let's split it down the middle. And we're going to start, pick a leg, any leg. You got 5 of them to pick from. I like to start, actually I'm going to start in the center. Just secure it to the center. And we're going to wrap it. Remember, wrapping, you want to wrap flat. So come around. I wrap to the back. I put my finger on it Remember, the tighter you wrap, the less you have to felt. We're going to go to the end. And then we're going to take that very end tip. Let's draft this out a little bit. We're going to take that tip and bend it in. If you're using a fatter wire, you're probably going to want pliers. Even with this 18 gauge, I like to squeeze it. So that's going to lock that wire onto that fiber. And then we're going to go back. So what we're making here is a cone shape leg. We're just going to keep wrapping. And we're going to go back up. Once we get down here to the center, we're going to go back up. I don't know if you noticed, but my needle is bent, but that's okay. It still works. Sometimes I lean across my pads and lean on my needles and they bend. Don't ever try to unbend them because that will break them for sure. So we have one leg, kind of. We've started one leg. I go to the opposite side with another piece of corbel. Again, secure it in the center. And we're going to wrap it. And I know you're all out there thinking, oh, well, this looks really easy. It's going to go really fast. You know, I thought that too. And then I started making them. And the hard part is getting the shape on the legs once we get them all wrapped. And then we're going to make they're kind of triangular shaped. Again, I'm getting fatter down here at the bottom. Okay, we're going to do this for the next 3 legs and get them all ready for the next phase. Okay, so once you have your base coat on, it's not super pretty, but it will be in a minute. You want to just make sure that all your little ends are tucked in. So you can see we're not quite at the size we want yet, but we'll get there. Remember, before you want it smaller than your final version because you're going to put color on. So I'm just going to wrap just a little bit more on each leg. I'm going to tear this off because I don't want it too fat. Take it back. I'm going to wrap a little bit more. And each one, make them just a hair wider at the bottom. And also, this is where you're going to start shaping it a little bit. Piece of the farm. It's always good to have a little bit of farm in your roving. So, starfish legs are triangular. So, this is the peak up here, and so we're going to kind of make the bottom flat and then make them into a triangle this way. Get a little bit more on this guy. Okay, the piece of the farm keeps following me around. You notice I haven't wrapped this super tight because I want to be able to form my triangles. Some of them may need more than others. This is where you want to start making these legs. You can see they have like a little indent in here. They're separate legs because you know starfish can break off their legs and still live and grow another one. Okay, we have him all beefed up. So I'm going to start putting on the orange color. Now let's tear some off. And I'm going to split it. So merino is interesting stuff. Takes a little bit more felting. I'm tearing this apart just to level it out. So if you're just using Corriedale, this will go way faster. And I'm just going to lay it on top and start felting it in. Then I'm going to bring it around to the bottom. Up in this skinny area, you can wrap it all the way around. So I'm going to do this to all 5 legs, get them all colored, and it's going to take a bit to felt this all in. And meanwhile, while you're felting it, you want to be working towards this triangle shape. So there's a peak right there. This is going to be... It's really good to refer to pictures of what you're felting. Remember, there's wires in there, so be careful with your needles. I'm using a multi-tool with 2 needles, pin tool. So this is going to take a bit. And I'm going to do all the legs until they're all covered. Okay, so I have been putting the merino blend on my starfish, and it didn't go as fast as I would like because merino felt really slow and you really got to poke it a lot. But it makes a cool looking starfish. So the top is pretty much done. It did not take a whole 1/4 ounce to cover the starfish, and I covered the back somewhat. But you can see how I've been poking it into a triangle. Now we want to make sure we get these little legs lines in. So you just poke up and be mindful there's wire in there. You want to make this, because once you're felted, you're going to get these lines in here into the center. So let's go ahead and flip him over for a minute. And we'll put his belly on. I like the belly on this one. So this is what we're going to do on the back here. And we're going to use this marigold. This will felt way faster because it's Corriedale. But we're just going to felt a little star. Kind of lay it on here first. Just tear off little pieces. It doesn't have to be very thick. I just like to get it all on there before I really start felting. Leave a little edge so you can see that color. And now we are going to felt this in. Another piece of the farm. Not my farm. I want to well felt this in, because once you get it felted in, now same as the top, we want to make legs, making a center. So we're just going to work and felt this in. So once you get it felted in, I'm going to show you on this one, and then I'll just finish felting it. Because once it's felted, then you can sculpt it. Notice I'm not stabbing very deep because I don't need to. So once it's felted in, I like to go along the edges. Make it stand up a little bit, and then we're going to make a line right down the middle. That's what starfish look like. Again, mine are whimsical starfish, because that's the name of the game with me. So we'll end up putting lines down all these legs, just like this. And see, we're going to felt to the middle. Just want it. This is where the starfish mouth is, down here. Okay, now we'll get this all felted in, and I'll come back and show you what I did. All right, so I've been putting the gold color on the bottom of this starfish. And now, since I've got it felted, I can draw the lines to give it some texture with my needle. Remember, you're not going to be able to draw those lines unless your starfish is well felted. Sculpting does not happen until the wool reaches a certain point of compactedness. And this just gives them a little bit of design on the bottom. So we have that. We have his bottom done. All right, so now we're going to go back to the top. And I'm going to take a tiny bit of this orange. And I'm going to work it into those lines that we put in here. Just a tiny bit. I'm going to make a little tiny star. It'll help define those lines just a little bit. We'll make the center just a little bit thicker. This is personal preference. That's what I like to do. You can color your star however you want. I mean, again, starfish come in a million colors. And then we're going to add a little bit of sparkle to them with some beads. Now, I'm going to glue the beads on. You can sew them on if you want. We're using just a little seed bead. So you can see I have a little star shape right here. So now what I have in this little container, I have these little gold seed beads. And I'm going to dump them out into here. Put them up here. I don't want glue on my felting pad. All right, I'm using E6000. You can use any glue you want. get stuck. And then I just take my little tweezers here. And I don't really pay attention to how I'm going to put the bead on. I just get some glue on it. And I'm going to go in a circle around the middle. And here I got 2 of them. Imagine that. I'll come back and get that one, and I'm just going to put them on. Usually end up with glue all over my fingers. So this is just like a little topaz colored bead. E6000 likes to come out of the tube all on its own. So once you go in a little circle, then you can go down his legs. And I'm just going to go down the center of the legs to give this one a little sparkle. You know, starfish are bumpy. Get out there. Okay, hold on, that needs some more glue. So I'm just going to go down his legs and all these beads. Like I said, you can sew them on if you want. Glue is faster. I don't recommend a glue gun unless you have a super fine tip, because you don't want too much glue. Just a little bit. You might have a little paper towel standing by if you get too much glue on the tip of your tweezers. One more should do it. And then you just do the other legs until they're all sparkly. This one I used little pearls. I had some little tiny pearls that I did, but I also needle felted a little pink underneath of the pearls. So your decoration is however you want to do it. And I'll just keep putting these on until we have them all decorated. Okay, I got all my little beads glued on. You could glue more if you wanted, but this is what I think this guy deserves. And then you could felt it a little bit more if you want. But now, because we're all done, we can shape him a little and make him look like a real starfish. Hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you liked it, make sure you click like and then follow us for next week's video. Next week, we're going to do an octopus, a little tiny octopus. So this is our starfish for today. Make a great little seaside decoration.